Oh, hey guys, take a look. There's a little update. Well, not exactly an update, but you can get some free stuff if you're still playing Dragon Age the Veilguard. I know nobody is, but hey, you can go ahead and you can access your copy that you may or may not have refunded at this point in time, or hell, you were probably like many people that were out there and didn't even bother playing this pile of crap. But hey, you could get some free DLC because that'll entice people to come back. Right, wrong. BioWare released a new weapon set for Dragon Age the Veilguard that players can claim for free on PC. One of the biggest fantasy RPGs of 2024. Really? One of the biggest. Well, I guess if you just take all of them together, it would technically be one of the biggest by both budget and the amount of articles shilled by the main or by games journalists. So yeah, okay. Dragon Age of Veilguard was released last fall to somewhat of a mixed response. No, not mixed response. Okay, the entire class, the journalist class that was out there, was overwhelmingly licking the boots of this a disaster zone. While it ultimately landed in the low to mid 80s for Xbox and PlayStation on Metacritic, dipping to 76 on PC, which are just way too high across the board. Many felt that Dragon Age of Veilguard was ultimately missing the BioWare magic of the old and-made games like Mass Effect Trilogy and early Dragon Age entries so special. And how exactly did Game Rant rank the Veilguard? All right, perfect 10 out of 10. Right. But anyways, despite the respectable Metacritic scores and selling 1.5 million copies, 1.5 million interactions. What exactly does that mean? Not 1.5 million sales. So just stop it. That's lying. You're a liar. You're a liar. He's a little liar. It's been reported that the Veilguard fell short of EA's lofty expectations. See, that's the way that they do this, man. They just go ahead and weave in things that you've heard before, like the 1.5 million. EA reported it. So yeah, if we just say it sold 1.5 million copies, it's like, hey man, we're getting most of the stuff right. Go to hell. This has led to an unfortunate round of layoffs at BioWare. No, justifiable, because they're really bad at their job, especially if they worked on this piece of shit. And on top of that, all post-launch support for Dragon Age of Veilguard, aside from bug fixes, have been scrapped. Now, the game is currently sitting at a heavy 50% discount on Steam, making it available for just $30. Yeah, over the weekend, the entire Dragon Age franchise was on a deep discount, and I own I think the first three. I'd have to fire up Steam to just, to take a look, but I know I have the first. I know I definitely have Origins on Steam or on EA's whatever they call Origin now at this point in time. But whatever. It seems a small amount of Dragon Age of Veilguard's cut post-launch content is making its way to the door as free DLC for PC players. Ooh, on Steam, the Rook's Weapon appearance offer. Oh, okay. So Rook was the name of your character, but the appearance, what? Okay, has gone live to download at no additional cost. The DLC's description mentions that the offer will be available until April 9th. Okay, what's going to happen on April 9th? Are they going to do something funny and will automatically appear in-game for those who purchase, the Veilguard. Oh, okay. Then it's going to go to consoles. Okay. As the items included, the bundle is comprised of 5 weapons, a dagger, bow, shield, sword, and a maul. Yeah, okay. Each decorated with creepy, dark eye-like pustules. Oh, cool. It'll perfectly complement the creepy, dark, dead-eyed pustules that you can find on your characters, because holy shit, man, like it really does just bring me back, because this is just a trash game. Since the bundle is only available for PC players on Steam, it would be fair to wonder whether the weapon pack will make its way to Xbox and PlayStation. Yeah, but at this point in time, who the fuck cares? Rook's Weapon bundle only available until April 9th. Veilguard players on Steam should take advantage of the deal before it ends. But yeah, according to CBR, at least they're a little bit more critical. They only gave Dragon Age the Veilguard, by the way, an 8 out of 10 once we get all the way to the bottom. No, sorry, a 7 out of 10. It was one of the more critical outlets, right? But a mysterious update to Dragon Age the Veilguard has added a new DLC weapons pack to the game. Surprising addition comes after BioWare announced support for the game would be limited moving forward. Now, here's the thing, I don't even remember them saying that there would be. It was just kind of hidden in the patch notes that it was basically arrivederci, see you later. Yeah, we might catch you down the road, but don't worry about that. BioWare laid off the entire writing staff. Oh my god, like I couldn't think of a more justifiable firing outside of the people that were scamming the federal government that ended up getting doged. See more about that in the previous video on the day. One of the game's early patches promised that future updates would be focused on fixing bugs rather than adding new content, making the new Rook's Weapon appearance offer a nice surprise, despite the game's bleak future. Veilguard was the fourth major game in the Dragon Age franchise, and yeah, did absolutely nothing, and EA's CEO blames Veilguard's lack of live service features for the failure. Remember, guys, it's not that the game was written in crayon, that the characters were ugly beyond mention, okay, because, hey, you could go ahead and save the world for somebody like that. Yay. It wasn't that the gameplay was reminiscent of a mobile game slop. No. It was just didn't have enough live service aspects. Let's run this back. Andrew Wilson shared his thoughts on why the game underperformed, blaming it on a lack of a shared world experience. With the fallout that followed the release of the Veilguard, the future of the franchise doesn't look too great. And it's so funny, right? Because there's something else that we've been tracking very closely in recent days, and that revolves around a good old Assassin's Creed Shadows. And if you recall, earlier this week, the opening weekend for Shadows, well, its launch weekend, topping out at 64,000 concurrent players, was still 27.5% lower than the verifiable bomb that was Dragon Age the Veilguard. But hey guys, Ubisoft told me that it's like a big smash hit in other places, right? It's kind of like how Dragon Age the Veilguard, oh no, right, yeah, the reason that it didn't perform all of that well on Steam, that would be because it was offered on EA's subscription service, and it's a big hit on PlayStation, where, you know, hey, we were giving it away for free and it still didn't even crack into the top 25 most played games. And on Xbox, where you know, BioWare used to have a very close relationship, and it didn't track at all anywhere on any perceivable metrics. Like, there's no way that you could look at that game and say, you know what, hey, you know what, it actually did perform in that metric. No, it didn't track anywhere on Xbox, okay? It didn't move the needle when PlayStation was giving it away for free with their PlayStation Plus program for the month of March. Like, at this point in time, I think, you know, when you guys see this video, okay, it'll still be released and you can go ahead and get your free copy, but hey, nobody else did, so why would you even bother just clogging up your system with that one? And the game performed, 89K. What was the Veilguard's peak? 89,418, okay, on Steam. But Ubisoft trying to spin Shadows as some kind of a success. Oh, trust me, guys, there's 2 million players. What exactly does that mean? Well, I don't know, but hey, you can go ahead and, you know, compare apples to apples with the Veilguard, and just, we know that Shadows is a flop because Veilguard is a flop, and you're underperforming that. But hey, you know, free DLC, they'll bring people back, right? Because you can have, you know, better looking weapons to inspire you to go back and revisit this uninspired gameplay, right? But then you take a look at, oh no, actually, for the people that can play it on Steam, yeah, nobody's playing it because over the weekend it peaked at 3,100 concurrent players. Is that what we ended up getting over the weekend? What's that peak? That's, oh no, I'm sorry. Okay, hey, I undersold it. Okay, 4,200 people decided to come back and give it a shot. Okay, 4,287 players, man. Like, hey, that's real good. Okay, and if you take a look at how the game has performed since launch, oh yeah, nobody's coming back to this crap. But hey, at least it took a little while for it to just drop below, you know, 5 digits of players. It's just also kind of hilarious how the game was on sale this past weekend for 50% off, and it didn't inspire anybody to check this shit out, mostly because they knew that another deep discount was coming out in the very near future, and that, yeah, all of this free DLC isn't really going to much matter because the cringe is still very much written in the dialogue. The characters are still absolute ear cancer and eye cancer as well, and that BioWare, you're going to eventually be able to get their entire catalog post-mortem, because that's a studio that's not long for this world. It's so crazy, right? Because the last update we got on what they're doing, oh yeah, we're bringing back a bunch of veterans for Mass Effect 5. Like, that's going to be great. But okay, cool. You announced the Mass Effect 5, I think, what was that, back in like 2019 or something like that, after the abysmal Assassin's Creed not Assassin's Creed, I get everything all mixed up, but Mass Effect Andromeda went on to do absolutely nothing for you. But hey, no, yeah, you guys come back, because we're going to go ahead and we're going to right the ship with 5. But where are you at right now? Oh, we're in pre-production. Okay, cool. So that game's going to be another, 5 years from now? And you think that EA is going to keep you around if you aren't producing anything like that after you just served up a turd like this? Yeah, best of luck to you. 2024, and it looks like so far in 2025, it has been a protracted period in Western gaming, the likes of which we haven't seen since, I would say, probably the early to mid 80s. Okay, and that's not exactly a good point of comparison, because all of these AAA releases have fallen flat on their faces. And I take a look at what's announced for the rest of this year, and outside of Doom: The Dark Ages, nothing's really looking like it's going to be setting the world on fire. But we've got a couple of announcements. Okay, Switch. I don't even really count, Nintendo in this, mostly because, well, yeah, we're talking specifically about the West. But the Switch 2, as long as it's priced correctly and they've got enough games at launch, like, that thing's going to do absolute gangbusters. And it's probably going to end up, it's kind of like how when manga, they want to rope that into, graphic novels and the comic book industry and see, hey guys, look at the comic book industry is doing just fine, even though all of the heavy lifting is being done out east. And that's exactly what's going to happen, by the end of the year. Oh, look, gaming hasn't been as profitable as it has been this year because of the Switch 2. Yeah, but what's the rest of that stuff doing? What were the sales like for, Avowed, okay, for the new PlayStation 5 port of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, okay? Assassin's Creed Shadows. Is it going to end up getting to 5 million players, whatever the hell that means, by, the end of the year, once everybody forgets that this happens? It's a very bleak outlook for the rest of this year. So I'm hoping that, PlayStation, as we're seeing, at least Sony Japan looks to be getting their head out of their ass. It's just, is it going to be enough to combat Sony of America? Same thing with Xbox. Okay, are they going to shit or get off the pot? Or are they just going to be getting out of the console market and then just go strictly into be the Netflix of gaming? Is that what their future is? Is that what they're going to do? I don't know, man. And then ultimately, what's going to happen with Ubisoft? Is Microsoft going to swoop in? Is Tencent going to swoop in? And then with BioWare, they going to get closed down? Or are they just going to release a little bit more cringe for Veilguard so that you could have shills run out and go, actually, guys, it wasn't as bad as you chud said that it was. And if you weren't so mean to our game, it would have succeeded. Trust us, bro. So with all that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.